And we are joined now by one of the survivors, Capital Gazette intern Anthony Messenger. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I know that you are a college senior and you just started working there about 4 weeks ago in the sports department. I mean, I just can't even imagine what's going through your mind. Can you just first tell us how you're doing this morning?
I'm still trying to digest everything. I think it was so sudden, and it's not something that anybody can prepare themselves for. And even today, it still feels surreal that we all went through that senseless act of just violence. It was insane.
So, Anthony, police say the shooting began around 2:35 p.m. What were your initial thoughts as you heard those shots?
Initially, I thought it was fireworks. I heard a pop, and I turned and looked over my shoulder toward the front of the room, toward the entrance. And I saw some faces that looked concerned, but I couldn't see any shooter or anything. I saw that the glass doors that opened up into our office were blown out. And then I heard a second pop. And after that, I still wasn't positive what was going on, but I was afraid enough to grab my keys, and I ran toward the back exit of the office.
And as I understand it, Anthony, you were with another colleague, and that the door was locked, so you were kind of stuck in there. What happened next?
So Celine San Felice, one of my colleagues, she also ran toward the door. She was the one who actually jingled the handle, and that door is normally never locked from the inside out. We have no problems getting out of that door, and for whatever reason that day it was jammed. And as soon as that happened, that signaled to me, okay, this is intentional. Those are shots. You know, we see these things on the news all the time, so it's not. Unfortunately, we're kind of desensitized to them. I quickly recognized, oh, this is a malicious situation. He's here to do harm to us. And we immediately ran and got under one of the desks in the far back corner of the office. And we just huddled as close as we could to each other and tried to stay out of sight of whoever it was that was in the office at the time.
And you managed, Anthony, I understand, on a landline to call 911, not to speak to the emergency officer on the other line, but at least to get that phone call started. And there's a tweet that rocketed around the internet yesterday off your Twitter page that reads, "Active shooter 888 Bestgate, please help us." I understand it came from your phone, but you actually didn't write that tweet.
No, I did not. So I called the police as soon as we got under the desk, and I was not able to talk to them. I didn't feel that I could do it in a manner that wouldn't tip off our position to the shooter. Once he moved away from us, I tried to call again. The line was busy twice, but that's probably because of the multitude of people within the entire office park that were calling. And from there, I decided to text my friend. I said, hey, please call the police. Like, I'm in trouble. After I did that, Celine's with me, and her phone was at her desk. In that moment, I thought I was going to die. I thought we were going to die. So the only thing I could think, only solace in that moment was, here, Celine, you can have my phone. Text whoever you need to text, contact whoever you need to contact. And she texted her mother. I'm not sure if she texted anybody else. And then she proceeded to send the tweet. I saw that she was on Twitter, but it didn't register to me what was going on. But that was heads up by her. That's a testament to her, just her self-awareness right in that moment.
I know you've said that the police got there pretty quickly, and you were able to identify yourselves and get out of there. And I can't even imagine what you witnessed as you walked out.
It was chaos. The office was kind of in shambles. Unfortunately, we had to pass 2 bodies of our colleagues, which was something that nobody should ever have to stomach. Just unfortunate that somebody would come into a place that only reports truthful stories that are fact-based and unleash hell on the office. We tried to keep our eyes from off of the ground, but inevitably we all, as journalists, were kind of curious, and it was sickening.
Anthony, as we've been reporting this morning, this man had a long history with the newspaper, a grudge with the newspaper. Did anyone yesterday recognize the man in real time? Was there talk around the newsroom? They say, we know who this guy is.
Not that I remember hearing. I wasn't even knowledgeable to the entire situation or our history with the man. When it was going on, it was so chaotic. I just ran as quick as I could. Me and Celine just kind of huddled up together. There was so much commotion going on, and he wasn't saying anything. And I think just the sheer chaos of it all, people were too caught up in trying to get to safety to realize, okay, this is a man that we have a prior history with. Even when we got out of the building, I don't think myself, Phil, Celine, or Rachel knew exactly who it was. They may have had their opinions on who it was at the time. I didn't. This is only my 4th week on the job, but we were not clear on who the suspect was at the time. I never got a look at him until after the fact through social media.
And Anthony, how do you feel this morning? Do you feel like you eventually want to go back to work and complete your internship?
At the moment, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to just decompress.
Yeah.
My heart just goes out to the families and friends of the people who were unfortunately killed. That's never something that crossed my mind when I took the internship, that I might see people die. People that were nothing but welcoming and comforting to me in such a it's a big job to take. I'd never really had a job at an office yet, and they were accommodating to me, and they really tried to help me write the best stories that I could. So it was unfortunate to see such good-hearted people ultimately suffer such untimely, senseless deaths.
It's just heartbreaking. Anthony, thank you so much for being here this morning and sharing your story. We're just sending our best to you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, guys.